Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. The Gammas have both been officially revealed by Global Dokkan. Their animations are currently out on Twitter, their information is out on Twitter. We've already gone through it when they were dropped on JP just because it was new. So I will go over their information again and just kind of talk about them a little bit and for, about some of the stuff I've been seeing about them. Instead of watching their animations, because we've already gone through them as well, because we did see the English voice lines, you can go check them out on Twitter. But we're also going to go over their banner as well. So they should be in a few days. They should be here on Friday. Do let me know down in the comments if you are going to be summoning. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. Hopefully I can get through this without coughing too much because your boy seems to be getting ill. But here's the official confirmation. A new Dokkan event is coming soon for both Gamma 1 and 2. They do have separate Dokkan events. Now in terms of their banner, for me personally, do you know what? This is going to sound really weird. Their banner for me personally actually isn't too bad. Obviously you have both the Gammas. Gamma 1 is, I think, currently up there as one of the best units in the game. Gamma 2 is... he's close behind, but not as good. Tech Ultimate Gohan, I still need a dupe in. Piccolo's the only unit here I do not need dupes in. I recently, or only a few months back, bought the androids with coins. I still need 4 dupes in them. I still need dupes in Android 13. I'd rather not pull them, but I do still need dupes in him, and the same can be said for DBS Broly. I actually still need a dupe or two in him. I'd rather not get it instead of these two, obviously, but I could still use a dupe. Is the banner anything special? Not really. I mean, the main kind of selling point of this banner is not only, of course, the Gammas, some of the first pullable DBS superhero units, but it's the fact that they're both Dokkan Fest and they're both featured on the banner. So immediately there's some major value there, because you definitely want to pull both of them because they work so well together. That's just immediately some major value because they're both Dokkan Fest themselves. Tech Ultimate Gohan, while he is aged quite a bit, he's still a good unit. Android is still one of the best TURs in the game. There's some value on this banner. Outside of that, Piccolo 13 and DBS Broly Super, DBS Super Broly obviously aren't the best of units, but of course the main selling point is both the Gammas being featured as Dokkan Fest on one banner. And on JP, I was seeing people get some insane luck, so hopefully the same can be said on Global. But in terms of their details, again, we've already quickly run through this, but I'm going to run through this in a little bit more detail and just go over it again for those of you who haven't seen it maybe on the Global side. So Gamma 1 is a movie heroes or artificial life forms 170 lead, and he gives the additional HP and attack and defense plus 30% to accelerated battle or worthy rivals category. On super attack, he raises attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn, causes immense damage to the enemy. They both have entrance animations, except Gamma 1's entrance animation will give him attack plus 50% and guards all attacks for 4 turns from the start of turn. Of course, the guard, very useful for harder content like Red Zone and Cell Max event, considering there's going to be Cell Max event missions, which again we've already gone through as well. There's Cell Max event, hopefully I can speak properly, Cell Max event missions requiring you to be, was it special pose and artificial life forms, I think are the 2 categories, and of course these 2 are a major help in doing that. So his guard is very useful for that. Of course, you want to get through the first 2 phases as quick as possible, and hopefully if you can do that quickly, you potentially may have at least like a turn of his guard left against Cell Max in the final tech phase where he does so much damage. He gets attack and defense plus 150 at the start of turn. He gets an additional attack plus 100% when performing a super attack. So I've seen Gamma 1 and 2 hit for like 8-9 million, 9 to 10 million fully brought up. So for a unit specifically with Gamma 1 that's a lot more defensively focused, doing those type of numbers, this may have been rainbowed, I think it was rainbowed, but even so, that's still pretty good. For a unit that is that defensively focused, it's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Those are some decent numbers to be putting out, while being as good defensively as he is. He also then gets an additional attack and defense plus 20% up to 100% and reduces damage received by 10% up to 50%. With each attack received. This is so easy to build up. Like, Gamma 1 is so easy to build up. Like, yes, after 4 turns you may lose the guard, but you're then gonna have 50% damage reduction. 50%. Is it like you know, Golden Freezer standard where he takes nothing. No, but he's still going to tank incredibly well, not to mention when you're in like red zone, which is hitting pretty hard pretty much all the time, you're going to have guard for 4 turns, along with building up his attack and defense up to 100%, and the damage reduction up to 50% during those 4 turns as well. So he's going to be sitting in slot 1, taking the majority of the attacks, because in red zone, we all know, typically and primarily, the super attacks often than not come in slot 1, and there usually are a plethora of attacks always in slot 1. So he's going to be sitting in slot 1 anyway. He's going to have guard, not to mention because he has guard, it's going to make building this part of his passive up so easy, just because he's going to be taking next to no damage. And then within those 4 turns, you're going to have the damage reduction pretty much built up within 2 turns. So then you're going to have 50% damage reduction and guard, which means even on some of the hardest phases, hardest hitting phases in red zone, so Metacooler Core, you know, maybe not a Mega, because yeah, no, not a Mega, because unless you can literally fly through that, but probably not a Mega. Even Broly, because he hits hard literally from the 2nd phase onwards. This guy's going to be tanking all of their super attacks for pretty much next to nothing, while you have that guard for 4 turns and his damage reduction built up, on top of the extra attack and defense that you're getting as well. So it's very easy to build him up. He also has a 30% chance of performing a critical hit starting from the turn in which the character receives the 5th attack in battle, which again, because he's going to be sitting in slot 1 with guard to build up the damage reduction, you're pretty much going to be have that built up either in turn 1 in red zone or turn 2 at a push. And then you're going to have a 30% chance to crit, and that's at 55%. And that's at 55%. If you manage to pull a dupe in him and you hit an additional, you could potentially crit on his initial super attack and then have a dupe system crit on the dupe system additional. And then the amount of damage he's doing while being an amazing tank is pretty wild. And then not only that, he gives all allies key +1 and defense plus 30%, which is very nice. Just an extra defense is good anyway. It's also especially nice when you consider that both Gammas share about what, 5, 6, I think it's 5 or 6 out of 7 links together. And then you can also give Gamma an extra 30% defense as well, considering Gamma 2 is the more kind of offensive focused out of the 2 of them. But some extra defense is nice nonetheless. And then he has a 70% chance of evading enemies' unarmed super attack when countering with tremendous power. Now, this of course will not be applied to Broly because you can't dodge or counter Broly, so you won't be able to utilize this against him, unfortunately. But anywhere else in red zone Cell Max event where you can dodge, you're going to have a 70% chance to do so if it's an unarmed super attack, and you will counter him as well. So not only will you avoid any damage whatsoever, but you'll also deal some as well. His link set is Android Assault, Cold Judgment, Red Ribbon Army, Shocking Speed, Hero of Justice, Signature Pose, Fierce Battle. Some pretty nice links, I'm not going to lie, especially when you consider the fact, again, you're going to be wanting to be able to pull both Gamma 1 and 2. You're going to be running them both on the same rotation. They share 6 out of 7 links together. Most of the time, if you have both of them, you're going to be getting all of these off, apart from Cold Judgment, which would be nice to have the extra defense. But even still, there's some very nice links nonetheless. He goes on Androids, Movie Heroes, Artificial Life Forms, Worthy Rivals, Special Pose, Defender of Justice, and Accelerated Battle. And then we have Gamma 2, who will go on 3 170 leads of Movie Heroes, Androids, or Special Pose. Of course, as I said, there is a Special Pose category mission coming for the Cell Max event, and he'll be a 170 lead of those. And then he'll give an additional HP attack and defense plus 30% to Accelerated Battle or Worthy Rivals as well. So Movie Heroes just kind of stays winning. There's been so many Movie Hero units that have come out in the last few months. And the Blue Boys, the Year 7 gods, stay winning as well. But on Super Attack, he does raise attack and defense by 30% and causes immense damage to enemy. He also, again, has an entrance animation, but instead of attack plus 50%, Gamma 2 will get a defense plus 30%. And then he will launch 2 additional attacks, each which have a medium chance of becoming a Super Attacks for 4 turns from the start of turn. So he'll get 50% defense, he'll have 2 built-in additionals for 4 turns, each which have a 30% chance of becoming a Super Attack, which is very nice when you consider the fact that if both of those additionals come off, he will then raise his attack and defense 3 times in 1 turn at 55%. Which is pretty much, what, 30% each time? So defensively, for a unit that isn't the more defensively focused unit out of Gamma 1 and 2, he's going to have some pretty solid defense, especially with that extra 50% defense for 4 turns as well from the entrance animation. And then if you manage to pull a dupe, you could potentially super attack 4 turns in those 4 turns, and then not only do some very, very good damage, but also raise your defense by 30% 4 times, which means his defense is going to be in a very, very good spot. He also gets attack and defense plus 150 at the start of turn, and he gets an additional attack plus 100% when performing a super attack. So again, the numbers do jump up. They're doing like, I think at Rainbow, like 8, 9 to 10 million, which is very good and very nice. And then he'll get an additional attack and defense plus 20% up to 100% as well, and a chance upon a critical hit up to 50%, which again, at free dupe, having a 50% chance to crit is very nice. On top of the fact also, some of you may pull dupes. And that is with each attack performed, which is very easy to build up, because considering you only need to do 5 attacks, and you have 2 built-in additionals with your initial attack anyway. So literally in 1 turn, you can do 3 attacks. So by turn 2, at 55%, you're going to have this guy pretty much fully built up. As it is very easy to build both of these gammas up. It's just, you know, the damage reduction on Gamma 1 is a lot more useful compared to crits and stuff like that, just because of how hard stuff like Red Zone and Cell Max event hits. But even still, a 50% chance to crit means you're doing more damage, like actual raw damage to an enemy's health, so it's still very good. He also launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack starting from the turn in which the character performs his 5th attack in battle. So even after the 4 turns, when you lose the 2 additionals, you will still have a 70% chance to launch an additional super after that. After you perform the 5th attack in battle, which again should only take you to like turn 2. Pretty much, like, it will pretty much only take you till turn 2, and then you have a 70% chance of launching an additional super, which on top of the fact he can crit as well, means this guy's doing some pretty decent damage, like actual raw damage to enemies' health. So it's very, very nice, and to have him of course partner him up with Gamma 1 obviously. And then he gives all allies key plus 2 and attack plus 30%. Again, this is the benefit of running them together. Not only do they share 6 out of 7 links, not only do you have a more defensive unit and a more offensive unit, but you run them together. Gamma 1 will be giving this guy key plus 1 and defense plus 30%. Gamma 2 will be giving Gamma 1 key plus 2 and attack plus 30%. You know, just to help them out here and there. And then whoever's in the 3rd slot will get both attack and defense plus 30% as well, an extra key, which is very, very nice. And then he has a high chance, 50% chance of nullifying key blast super attacks directed at the character. Now, of course, this is a nullify, so you can utilize this even on Broly, whereas Gamma 1 has a counter, which of course, you know, you can't use there. But because this is a nullify key blast super, even though he's a less defensive focused unit and Broly can still probably catch him a little bit, you know, even on the tech phase where he has type disadvantage, he nullifies key blast supers. So he'll be able to nullify the strength Broly's AoE phase, while Gamma 1 probably tanks it incredibly well. It's going to be very, very handy considering he is not as defensively solid as Gamma 1, for the fact he does have a key blast super nullifier, which of course you can utilize on all stages of Red Zone, or at least all the hardest stages of Red Zone for the most part, because it is a nullify, not a counter or a dodge, which of course you can't do in the older stages. So it is very nice that he has that as well, and he does have the link set of the Innocence, Android Assault, Red Ribbon Army, Shocking Speed, Hero of Justice, Signature Pose, Fierce Battle, and of course goes on all the same categories as Gamma 1. So yeah, that is the Gammas, that is those information. I went through their banner as well, which as I said, it's not the best banner, but the fact they're both featured on one banner does definitely help it and raise its value. And not to mention, if you still need dupes in Tech Ultimate Gohan, still a good unit to pick up dupes in, especially because at some point down the line, of course, he's going to have an Easy A coming, which is just generally going to be ridiculous, especially when you consider how good Easy A transforming Cooler is. So just have to bear with Dokkan with that one. But yeah, that's the Gammas. They are very, very good. They are actually insane of how good they can be in Red Zone and in Cell Max. You know, considering there's a whole mission pretty much around pulling these. But yeah, they are ridiculous. I can't wait to summon for them. Of course, they're coming on Friday. Considering the information was uploaded on Twitter today, should be the next 2 days. So yeah, on Friday. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. Or will you be summoning? And I'll see you in the next video, guys. And peace.